And this happens to be gluten-free. So for those of you who are always asking me for gluten-free things, I'm actually making something gluten-free. However, it's not my recipe. This recipe is from a blogger called Monkey and Me Kitchen Adventures. And I'm pretty sure that my friend Nancy brought this to Thanksgiving last year. And it was really good. And I remember I made a copy of the recipe and I saved it for this year. And I said, I'm going to make this pumpkin crumble next year. But I've never made it before. Oh, I see a lot of people are coming on. Great. Thank you, guys. It's all time to get ready for Thanksgiving. So this is not too early to make this dessert because I can refrigerate it and serve it cold if I want to, or I can also serve it hot. So we're going to get started with it. I put my food processor right here because it uses a food processor a lot. So I love this food processor. It's a Vitamix, and it has the attachment of a food processor and the blender. And it's in my Amazon store. I'm not sure which idea list it's on, but it's in there if you're interested in it. Okay, so it says to take the crumble ingredients first and add them all except for the walnuts. So I'm going to read them out to you. And I'll also post a link to the recipe. A cup of almond flour, a half cup of brown rice flour. That's why it's gluten-free. It's not using any flours with gluten. Let's see, it's going to have cinnamon, about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. It has eighth of a teaspoon of sea salt. I've got everything measured out to make this quicker. And then a teaspoon and a half of baking powder. Throw that in. 2/3 of a cup of maple sugar. Now, the author of this recipe said, be sure and only use maple sugar because you can't substitute it for other types of sugar. So I bought a container of maple sugar just for that. And that is a single ingredient and it's just organic maple syrup and they do something to dehydrate it. So that's what I'm using. And because she made it very clear that that's what you use in it. And then it has, let's see, didn't have, unsweetened almond butter, 2/3 of a cup. And that's what's in here. I'm going to have to get a scraper to get that out. So good old almond butter. And it's not sweetened, but it does have a little salt in it. It's not a high sodium type, but it does have some salt in it. When I looked at the jar, but it's kind of a low salt almond butter. And it's the brand at the store. I go to a store called Central Market, and it's their store brand of almond butter. So it's not widely available, but it's a very good tasting one. And trust me, I've tried a lot of them, and a lot of them don't taste that good or they're super thick. Okay, I've got about 10 people on here. The only thing we're not going to add are the walnuts. Lydia says, hi, Chef Julia. I'm being able to join live today. Great. I'm going to do a bunch tomorrow. It may be a little crazy, but I started thinking everything I'm cooking, I'll just cook it live if I'm cooking it tomorrow. And if people don't want to watch, they can just shut me off. But as long as I'm cooking, I might as well share it, right? What do you think of that? Should I do it? Okay. So now I've got everything in here except for the walnuts, and the instructions say to pulse until combined, and it starts to clump together about 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to use the pulse. Yeah. It looks like it's coming together, but I'm going to scrape the sides down a little because I can tell that there's still a lot of almond butter in the bottom. So it didn't say to do that, but sometimes you do things because you're experienced and then you just do them so they'll work. So the recipe will work out. So that's what I'm doing. I could see they're nice crumbs, but I just want to get this almond butter that's kind of settled in the bottom off the bottom. And then I'll scrape my spatula a little bit because I don't want to waste all the nice crumble ingredients. It's coming together really nice. Then I can add the chopped walnuts. It's about a cup of chopped walnuts. Hi, Erlene Costello. Good to see you on here. I don't think I've seen you on my lives in a while, maybe. Okay, and then I'm going to pulse it. It says, let's get that in there right. It says to pulse it a couple of times. It said, add the walnuts and do a couple of quick pulses just to combine. Okay, that was a couple quick pulses just to combine. Now I need to clean out my food processor because I'm going to need it for the next step. So this part is the crumble. And what I loved about this recipe is the crumble tasted really good. So when my friend brought it, it was in a big casserole dish, and I'd never, had it before or seen it before. So I wasn't sure how it was going to be, but it was so good. And I remember thinking that it kept well and the pumpkin part tasted good. Whoops, that decided to come right out. Not only did the pumpkin part taste good, but the crumble tasted really good too. And there's something about, I have a couple of pumpkin pie recipes that you can't even see me, I'm talking away. I have a couple of pumpkin pie recipes that are plant-based, and neither one of them really makes me happy. They're okay, but they're not, I don't crave them. I'm not thinking, oh, I can't wait to make the plant-based pumpkin pie. It's kind of like, it's okay, but I don't love it. Okay, so here what I have is the crumble, and you can see it. Everything is this nice, it's like a crumble topping, and everything's combined well. They're still, since I only pulsed it a couple of times, the walnuts didn't turn into flour. They stayed nice and chunky, crunchy, or chopped texture. Okay, so now I have all the ingredients for the filling, measured those out. And the first step is to put 6 dates that you've taken the pits out of. That's important. I once made a recipe where I had to take the pits out of the date. When I was new at plant-based stuff, I threw a date in with my smoothie. That was terrible. Oh, you could taste all the little date particles. Okay, so now I'm just breaking up these dates. Honey's dry. Okay, they're getting some. But you see how I had to do it several times to get the dates to be the texture of chopped dates. And it's what she said was, or they, whoever. I'm not sure if I think it's a guy and a woman both. But I wanted the dates to look like this in chopped pieces. I didn't want them to be gigantic chunks because then when I add everything else, they're not going to break up well. Okay. So if you have any questions, put it in the comments. And then I'm going to add a can of pumpkin. Whenever you use pumpkin, be sure you use pumpkin puree and not pumpkin pie filling. And this is the good old-fashioned Libby's pumpkin pie or pumpkin puree. And I know there's some other brands out there. There's an organic brand or two. Whenever I've tried them, the recipe doesn't turn out as good. It's like, I'm used to this one. I'm used to the taste of the good old one I used when I was a child. In fact, I wrote a post, an article the other day on my family's Thanksgiving from 1966. And we used this exact same pumpkin pie recipe that was on the back of a can of Libby's pumpkin puree. Same exact thing. Okay, so let me read the ingredients for here. It takes the 6 dates, break them up a little bit. Then we're going to put in a 1/3 cup of maple syrup, a 1/3 cup and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And I use just an organic maple syrup from the grocery store, no specific brand, but make sure it's not maple flavored syrup because back in the day when I was a child, we didn't use real maple syrup. We used Log Cabin and Mrs. Butterworth's or whatever, Aunt Jemima, whatever we had out there, and it was maple flavored, and it was kind of sickly sweet. Now, if I were to have it now, I don't think I would like it. Then we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, and I just have a brand that I buy, pumpkin seasoning mix. It's for this brand. It's from Morton and Bassett, and I like it. It's very rich. Okay, about 15 of you. That's awesome. Okay, then a teaspoon of vanilla. Just ordinary vanilla. A half teaspoon, so I'll put 2. So, any questions you can always put them in the comments or tell me, what are you making for your Thanksgiving desserts? Now, remember, I already made the pecan pie bars the other day, and I already have those there in my freezer. I have half a teaspoon of sea salt, and I have 2 more teaspoons of baking powder. Then I have a half a cup of brown rice flour. Okay, Alina joined. Julie Ann, I like that name. Shirley Ann. All right. Then a cup of almond flour. So remember, this is gluten-free. So if you have some gluten-free guests, this is something you can make for them. It's hard to find gluten-free desserts at Thanksgiving because everything's got a pie crust. And so this author of this recipe was good enough to substitute almond flour and brown rice flour. So there's no flour, no wheat flour in this recipe. And it tasted really good. My recollection of it from last year was it was outstanding. Nutty and little sweet and just really nice flavors from the pumpkin pie spice. I just liked it a lot. Then a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. So far I have the pecan pie bars. They're already made. And then I'm going to have this pumpkin crumble. So those are my 2 plant-based desserts. I think my family, I'm having like 11 people. I think it's 11 are coming. My family is going to bring, one of my daughters is bringing pie from Central Market. So it's not going to be my kind of pie. It's not going to be the pie that I would eat because it's, going to have all the butter and flour, eggs or whatever in it. So I'm not going to eat that. Okay, a cup of unsweetened plain plant milk. This is almond milk unsweetened. It's an organic unsweetened almond milk. I'm going to pour that in. Simple ingredients. Very simple. And then it tells me, okay, I've got everything. Let's make sure I got everything. 6 medjool dates, chopped up. Organic maple syrup, 1/3 cup and 2 tablespoons. Pumpkin pie, not the filling. Pumpkin puree, not pie. 2 teaspoons pumpkin pie spice, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 cup almond flour, 1 cup brown rice flour, half teaspoon sea salt, 1/3 cup unsweetened almond butter or cashew butter. I used almond butter. Tablespoon of flaxseed meal, cup of plant milk. Got it all. And I'm starting to read the recipes back before I say I'm done because it's easy to leave out an ingredient when you're making food. Okay, so this is going to go on. And it says here in the instructions to add the remaining ingredients and blend for 1 minute to thoroughly combine everything. So, and scrape down the blender. So I'm going to turn it on. Okay, it's been about 30 seconds, 37 seconds, and it said to scrape it down. So I'm going to do that and then I'm going to finish it. The one good thing about this food processor is it has a timer on it, a little clock, and it tells you how long it's been processing. And I like that because you don't have to guess. It tells you right there. So look at it carefully and you'll see the little timer here. Okay, so 30 more seconds. Okay, that was close enough because I had gone over like 37 seconds the first time. Okay, so now I've got the delicious pumpkin puree, and I'm going to move this over here. I don't really need it anymore. And I have my pan Oh, I wanted to show you. This was a gift when I retired. Some friends got it for me. I thought that was a great gift. I've used it a million times. So it says to put a third of the crumble on the bottom. So it says, assemble a dish. Take 1/3 of the crumble mixture and sprinkle it all over the bottom of the parchment-lined baking dish. Great, I didn't get parchment paper. Okay, I'm coming right back. I'm going to get parchment paper. Sorry about that. That's kind of dumb. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I try not to do that, but I'm not perfect. So I took my parchment paper and I crumbled it up because that makes it mold to the not flat surface really well. So when you crumble it up, then you can make it lie flat on the surface. Whereas if it's not crumbled up, it wouldn't stay there. It would just be a flat thing and you wouldn't be able to do what we're going to do. So that works really well. So you see how the parchment paper kind of molded to the baking dish and I didn't have to cut it or anything. So 1/3 of this, just a rough measurement. And then I'm going to just kind of spread it on the bottom. That looks good. I know it tastes good just from the ingredients that are in it. I'll put a little bit more. There's a couple naked spots. And you can kind of see I've just taken that parchment paper, put it on the bottom, and then I'll get it closer where you could see it better. Get you close up here so you can see what I'm doing. You don't really need to see me. You know what I look like. Okay, so I've got this here, and then I've got this big food processor full of the filling, and I'm just going to pour it in here. Oh, I was supposed to taste it to make sure it was sweet enough, but I'm just going to assume it is because it's really kind of late to add more sweetness to it. See how smooth it is? There's no lumps in it or anything weird. Let me go ahead and taste it while I'm thinking about it. See if it's sweet enough. Oh, yeah, that's very sweet. Now, my husband would say it wasn't sweet enough because that man, he likes things really sweet. If it's dessert, he wants it to be sweet. He can never understand it when people on food shows like Food Network or Bravo, Top Chef eat a dessert and they say, "Oh, this dessert is too sweet. It's so sweet." Like that's something wrong. He just doesn't understand that. It's like, well, it's a dessert. It shouldn't be sweet. But a lot of times I give him fruit or something, one of my desserts or my oatmeal. And what he'll do is he will add maple syrup to the top of it, which I find unnecessary, but that's what he likes. Okay, so now I'm spreading that delicious, it really is delicious filling. And look how easy that was. We didn't have to make a pie crust. We didn't have to do anything fancy. We didn't have to form anything into anything. All we did was we made some crumbs. We made a mixture that's pureed, and we just threw that on top of the crumbs. How easy is that? I sound like Ina Garten. How easy is that? She always says. Okay, I can do that so you could see me at least a little bit. So you just make sure it's kind of even. And then, now I got some on here that I need to get off. Rubber scrapers are good. Then we're just going to take all the crumbs. We're going to add them to the top because it is a crumble. And then I'm going to use my hands and spread the crumbs out on top here. And just make sure they go over every part. I remember now how much I enjoyed this. It was really something that tasted good, cold or hot. And the pumpkin part tasted so good. Much better than what I had made in the past. So those Monkey and Me kitchen adventure people, they have some really good recipes out there. What I'll do when I post my daily update tonight, I'll post a link to this recipe so you can have it. Terry says, I thought of Ina when you said that. And Lydia says, our Thanksgiving in Canada is in October, so we don't celebrate like in the States. Well, you already had your Thanksgiving then, so I guess you'll have to do this next year or just make it for the fall. Okay, so now the instructions are to take a piece of foil and to kind of crimp the edges, I guess to make the edges more solid. I don't know why. They said to make the edges, fold the edges over and do a bunch of stuff to make it sit right on top of the crumble. So it's just going to sit over the top, and then it's going to cook for, let's see, it says it takes an hour. So we're going to bake it for 40 minutes like this with the top, with this on top. I think I folded it a little bit too tight. So right before I came on live, Terry Malnar texted me and said that she was making corn casserole. And she didn't want to know if she should make it and take it to her place uncooked or cooked. Like, should she cook it first and then take it on Thanksgiving Day, or should she make it and not cook it until she gets there? I told her to go ahead and cook it. Okay, I just got the foil on here, but it's loose. It's not tightly on there. And I'm going to put this in my oven that I've got preheated to 350 degrees for 40 minutes. And I'm not going to wait 40 minutes. I'm not going to stay on the camera for 40 minutes while it cooks because it's just too long and I have some things to do. But what I will do is when it's done, I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it tonight with the recipe link. So you'll have a picture of the finished dish. And you cook it for 40 minutes with that cover on it. Take the cover off and cook it for 15 more minutes. And that kind of, browns up the crumble. And then you can put it in the refrigerator. And on Thanksgiving Day, take it out and serve it cold. Or I think you could reheat it. I don't know if they say how to reheat it, but I would reheat it. Remove from the oven and let it stand for an hour before serving. Then it firms up. Serve warm. Oh, okay. So you can serve it warm right out of the oven. It's delicious. Serve cold or at room temperature. So I think probably since I'm making it ahead, we'll eat it at room temperature. We'll just take it out and eat it at room temperature. Kind of like pumpkin pie. So really, it's a form of pumpkin pie. But, thanks to my friend Nancy who brought it to my house last year, I realized that it was so much better than the pumpkin pie that I had made. Mine was it was okay, but not something I craved. But that one, I liked it so well that I printed out the recipe and put notes on it. Great, make again next year. So if I do that, that means I really liked something if I make notes on it to say, make it again the next year. So now I've got my desserts made and it makes 12 servings. And I think I have 11 people coming over for Thanksgiving. So that'll be plenty. And most of them, I bet you some of those people will not even eat it because they'll have their own pumpkin pie. My husband's getting a regular pumpkin pie today, free from some friends who are real estate agents that give out free pumpkin pies to their customers every year. So he's going to pick that up this afternoon. And it's one of those Costco pumpkin pies. They're huge. And, they love it. So they'll have their own pumpkin pie. And maybe it'll just be me and a couple people eating this pumpkin crumble. But that's okay because it will give me 2 desserts, the pecan pie bars I made the other day and the pumpkin crumble. So I'll be very happy with that. Pumpkin pie crumble, it's called. So what am I going to make tomorrow that I can make with you if you're willing to stay with me while I make it? And I hope you are because I'll do just what I did now. I'll have all the ingredients. I'll make them on camera and then I'll post the recipes that night. So for tomorrow, I definitely am going to make my sweet potato casserole. And that involves taking some organic garnet sweet potatoes, baking them first. They take about an hour, maybe a little bit longer because they're really big. And then I take the sweet potatoes and I mash them up and add a bunch of ingredients to them to make them into this kind of casserole. and then it has a topping on it. So it's kind of like this pumpkin pie crumble, but it's sweet potatoes. And it has its own topping. It also does have vegan marshmallows. So if you don't like those, you can skip them. But the kids are coming over, and they used to love the old thing I used to make, which was pumpkin or sweet potato casserole that had lots of butter and brown sugar, and it was topped with marshmallows and nuts and whatever, and they love that. So this is my version of that. And I actually made this recipe for my friend PJ because she also made some kind of really sweet, gooey sweet potato casserole for Thanksgiving. And she asked me, she said, "Is there any way you can make a sweet potato casserole like the one I used to make when my kids were little and when my, family was young?" And so I made it. And that's why I came up with that recipe, was for her. So I'm going to make that. Then I can also make this for you, green beans, the green bean casserole, but my version, which uses some fresh ingredients, fresh blanched green beans and mushrooms and a light sauce. So I'll definitely make that along with the sweet potatoes. And there was one other dish that I still need to make. I can't remember what it is. Cranberry sauce. So I can also make my cranberry sauce. And let's see, let me look on my list here. Oh, I know, corn casserole. So Terry, I'm also making the corn casserole. And I'll just make that, and you can watch me make that. It's kind of like a cornbread almost. It has cornmeal and whole wheat pastry flour, but it has vegetables, and it has a lot of corn. And so when you cook it up, it kind of looks like a cornbread, squares of cornbread, but it has a real soft pudding-like texture. And it has a very nice flavor. It's just a good dish all around. So those are the 4 things I'll make tomorrow: cranberry sauce, corn casserole, green beans, and sweet potato casserole. If you want to watch me make those things, I'll just come on here live. I don't know what time it's going to be. It may be, I have to go somewhere. I can't do it at 11. I have to meet a friend for lunch. And so it'll be sometime in the afternoon, and I'm just going to cook until I'm done. So it'll be like a marathon of Thanksgiving cooking. So if you think that's fun, there's 20 of you watching. I'll do it for everybody, not just paid people. Since it's a Thanksgiving thing, I'll do it for everybody. And so if you think that sounds like fun, then join me tomorrow afternoon. I'm thinking it might be around 2 o'clock or 2:30, around this time, because I'll have to get home and get all my ingredients. So maybe more like 3 o'clock. I'll have to get all my ingredients prepped and it's a lot of work to prep a lot of ingredients. So does anyone have any questions before I sign off? Looks like 20 of you are still on here, which is outstanding. And you stuck with me, and we made the delicious crumble. Now all I have to do is let it finish cooking, and then cook the last 15 minutes without the cover. Let it cool before I put it in the refrigerator. I think the instructions were to let it stand for an hour before serving, but I'll let it stand for an hour or so before I put it in the refrigerator. And then she talks about powdered sugar on top, or, this is the kind of thing that might be good with a creamy topping. You know how we used to use whipped cream on stuff. Aline says, "I'm planning to make the crumble tomorrow to take to a friend's." That's great, Aline. Just the recipe is on Monkey and Me Kitchen Adventures. It's called Vegan Pumpkin Pie Crumble. So it's real easy to find. You don't have to wait for me to post the link. You can look it up right now. So I can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, you can make a lot of these things ahead of time. You can make them the day of, but the reason I'm making so many things tomorrow is because on Thursday, I don't want to spend the whole day cooking, because then I'll be too tired to enjoy the people. So in the morning, I can make the mashed potatoes on Thursday, and then, any other last minute relish tray, salad. I'm going to make a salad, even though probably I'm the only person that's going to eat it. But for me, it will help to have a nice salad next to all the rich food, because that will keep me from eating too much of the rich food, because I'll have plenty of salad to eat with it. So I'll make a nice salad, not just a lettuce and dressing. I'll make a good salad. I'll probably make I know what I was going to say, the topping for the pecan pie crumble. I've started following a chef on Substack here, Chef Martin Oswald, and I don't know if he's 100% plant-based, but he follows all the same people. And so I noticed he's been making a lot of plant-based things on his Substack, and he goes live. He lives in Vienna, Austria. And he goes live a lot, and he's a real chef. Like, he has 40 years of experience as a chef, so he's a good chef. And he's also good at telling you the nutritional value of food, which I'm going to try to do more of that because I really enjoyed what he does. And I think there's a need for that. So I'm going to try to get a little bit better prepared and tell you the nutritional value of the food when I make things. After Thanksgiving, though, it's too much right now. But he made, I never thought of this, he made a cashew whipped cream. And he took a small blender, which I do have a small blender. I have the Beast blender, which, it's the thing of it is only this big. And this is perfect for that kind of thing, for small amounts. And he took cashews that were soaked, and then he added maple syrup, and I can't remember what else he added. Cinnamon, I don't know. He added 2 or 3 things. I have it. I shared it on my Substack so I could go back to the recipe. And then he just blended it several times. Like, he had to push it down because it doesn't use but 1/3 of a cup of plant milk. So it doesn't use a lot of liquid. So you have to keep pushing down the mixture to get it to blend well. So he did that. And what he came up with at the end was a sweet whipped cream looking thing, but it was just made from the cashews. Well, I like that because the whipped cream substitutes for plant-based people that are available in the store are Cocoa Whip. And Cocoa Whip has oil in it, coconut oil. So I never like to get it. I've gotten it before, but I'm always kind of like, oh, I shouldn't really have this. It's got the oil in it. So I'm going to make that cashew whip stuff. I'm going to make it on Thursday, and I'll let you know how it turns out, but I'm sure it will turn out good. So that's something you can put on your vegan pecan pie crumble or on any dessert instead of that nasty Cool Whip that we used to all eat. Do you remember putting Cool Whip on everything? Ugh, I wouldn't even touch that now. If you look at the label, it's just nothing but chemicals. So on Thursday, the actual day, I don't want to have 17 things to make. I want to have all this stuff already made. My desserts will be made. All the side dishes will be made except for one, mashed potatoes. And then I'll heat everything up, but I'm really lucky. I have 3 ovens. I have an oven in here and 2 in the other kitchen. I have 2 kitchens too. So I can get everything in the oven well ahead of time. Don't wait to the last minute because these things take a long time to reheat, because you don't want to reheat them at a high heat because then they'll be rubbery and tough. So you reheat them at like 300 or something, so they reheat slowly. So I'll do that, and maybe the last few minutes turn the heat up so they can get nice and bubbly hot. So I'll be doing that to get everything nice and warm. And then I'll have plenty of time to set my table. We're going to eat in this room, which is my kitchen classroom, but there's a big table behind me. I think you can see it here behind my light. So I have a table that seats about 10 people. Back to me. So my table seats about 10 people, and then I'll set up another table off to the side because I'll have too many people to sit at that table. So either that or I have a counter here with stools, you can see. And my grandsons will always like to sit here at the counter. Oh, here comes Tori. Let's say hi. Come here, honey. I'm done cooking so I can pick you up. What are you eating? Are you eating paper? Here, let's say hi. She's the easy one to pick up. Everybody's watching you. Look, right here. She's a little troublemaker. She'll get into stuff all the time. She'll pick stuff up off the floor and eat it, whatever it is. And I find her a lot of times over at my house plants. Like, I've got some house plants, and she'll go over there, and if anything's kind of dry, I'll see her running around the house with it. She doesn't eat it, but she'll pick it off the house plant. Terry says, hi, sweetie. Yeah, the dogs, they're a handful. Oh, here comes Toshi. Toshi, come here. You want to say hi? Come here. No, he's standing off there. He's like, oh, I see you. You see him? No, you can't even see him. Come here, honey. They can't even see you. Okay, well, you can't see him, but he's right over here. So then, make your So Thursday, I'll have time to set the table, have some cloth napkins, fold them nice. I could fold them in candle shapes or whatever. Oh, here comes Yuki now. I can, fold them into, here you go. Yuki wants to say hi. Come here. Let's say hi. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There you go. He's a beast. And then candles, flowers, whatever, that makes your house look festive. I want to save plenty of time on Thursday to actually have time to make my house look nice and not wait to the last minute, but then be rushing around trying to cook everything. And no, I don't want to do that. Oh, the last thing I have to make, and I'll probably make this on Thursday, is my plant-based loaf, my entree, which I'm going to take my favorite veggie burger recipe and I'm going to put it in a loaf pan and I'm going to bake it and then cut it into slices. And I know I'm going to like it because it's my favorite veggie burgers. Now, does it go with mashed potatoes and gravy and corn and green beans? Yeah, it goes great with that. Does it taste like a Thanksgiving food? No, not really. But I don't care because I like the taste of it. And in my Thanksgiving recipe packet, there is a plant-based loaf in there that's really good. And I've made it before, but I'm always wanting to make something different. So this will be something different. Okay, so I'm going to get going here. I'm getting ready to leave to go meet some friends for pre-Thanksgiving wine. I probably won't even drink wine, but I'll go see my friends. And then tomorrow morning, I'll go for my walk, meet my friend for lunch, and then I'll hit the ground running to finish cooking for Thanksgiving on Thursday. So I'm sure you have all your methods for getting your food cooked. So you'll probably be busy too. Dorothy says, thanks, you're welcome. And I will post a picture of the finished vegan pumpkin pie crumble by Monkey and Me Adventures, Kitchen Adventures, if you want to look it up. So everybody, I will see you again live tomorrow afternoon. And I will do a marathon of Thanksgiving recipes. So if you're up to that and want to watch me cook a bunch of stuff, I hope you come on. If it's just too much and you don't want to do it, I understand. But, you might as well join me while I cook it because I like to cook and talk to people at the same time. So see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.